All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're talking about two really big ideas that are completely changing the game in education: universal design for learning and differentiated instruction. We're going to break down what they are, how they're different, and most importantly, why they matter for every single person trying to learn something.
So let's kick things off with a problem that I think pretty much everyone, whether you're a teacher or you've just been a student, is going to recognize. And that's the reality of the one-size-fits-none classroom. Have you ever really thought about this? It's one of the biggest challenges in all of education. A teacher can give an amazing, well-planned lesson, and for some students, it's like a light bulb goes on. They're totally captivated. But for others, they're bored, they're lost, or they've just completely checked out. And look, this isn't a failing of the teacher or the student. It's a failure of the design.
The way we've traditionally done things was built for this, mythical average learner. But here's the thing that modern research makes crystal clear. There is no average brain. It just doesn't exist. It's like fingerprints. Every single one is unique. Every student walks into a classroom with their own mix of strengths, challenges, and interests, and that's a concept we call learner variability.
So, what do we do about this? Well, the good news is there are two major frameworks out there designed to tackle this exact problem and create learning experiences that are way more inclusive and effective. Let's take a look.
First up is differentiated instruction, or DI. You may have heard of it. It was really pioneered by the incredible educator Carol Ann Tomlinson. The idea here is that a teacher is constantly assessing their students and then actively changes things up based on what they see. They can adjust the content, what students learn, the process, how they learn it, the products, how they show what they know, and even the whole classroom environment. It's a really responsive, teacher-led strategy.
And then there's Universal Design for Learning, or UDL. This framework comes from the organization CAST, and it's grounded in the science of how we learn. Now, instead of adapting a lesson after it's been made, UDL is all about designing the curriculum with flexibility baked in from the very start. The whole point is to remove barriers before they even become a problem for anyone.
And this right here, this brings us to the single biggest difference between these two powerful ideas. It really all boils down to one question. Are you being reactive or are you being proactive? So here it is. DI is fundamentally reactive. A teacher notices a student is struggling to read a text, so they find an audio version for them. That's a great reaction. UDL, on the other hand, is proactive. The lesson would be designed from day one with both the text and the audio options available to everybody. The best analogy is architecture. Differentiated instruction is like building a building with only stairs, then realizing some people need a ramp, so you go back and add one. UDL is designing the building with ramps, stairs, and elevators in the original blueprint. This quote from CAST just nails it. It really captures the profound shift in thinking. Instead of seeing a student and thinking they have a problem or a deficit, UDL says, wait a minute, maybe the problem is with the curriculum's design. The goal isn't to fix the learner, it's to fix the learning environment. That is a massive change in perspective.
Okay, so if UDL is all about this proactive design, how does it actually work? What does it look like to redesign learning with this framework? Let's break it down.
It's all built on 3 core principles. And these aren't just, nice-sounding ideas. They're actually grounded in cognitive neuroscience and what we know about the main networks in the brain that handle learning. Okay, first, provide multiple means of engagement. This is the why of learning. It's about tapping into the brain's affective networks, the emotional side, to spark interest and motivation. Second, multiple means of representation. This is the what of learning. It hits the brain's recognition networks by presenting information in a bunch of different ways. And third, multiple means of action and expression. This is the how of learning. It taps into the strategic networks by giving students choices for how they can show what they know.
Let's make that more concrete. What does multiple means of representation actually look like? Well, it means a lesson is no longer just a block of text. It means you might also offer a video, an interactive diagram, or an audio recording of that text. It could mean giving students the power to change the font size or the background color. And so importantly, it means making sure your materials show a diversity of perspectives so all learners can actually see themselves in the curriculum.
So when you bring these two powerful ideas together, UDL and DI, what's the end game? What are we ultimately trying to build in our students?
First, and this is so important to get, this is not a competition. It's not UDL or DI. They work beautifully together. Think of it this way. UDL provides the flexible, accessible foundation for everyone. It's the blueprint. Then DI allows a teacher to provide that extra, targeted, individual support right when and where it's needed. They are partners on the same mission.
And that shared mission is to develop something called learner agency. This is the ultimate prize. We want to empower students to take ownership of their own learning journey. We want them to become purposeful and reflective about their goals, resourceful in finding what they need, and strategic in how they approach learning. It's all about creating expert learners who are ready for anything the world throws at them.
So, we'll leave you with this final thought. Whether you're a teacher, a student, a parent, or just a lifelong learner, take a second to think about the environments you're in. What's one small barrier to learning, to engagement, or to expression that you could remove, maybe even tomorrow, to make learning just a little bit more accessible for everyone?